Well, and then the
Tellez.
co-main, Tellez.
Looked amazing.
He did look good.
I mean, he switches orthodox and southpaw. Have you seen another fighter? I think you're probably gonna name Crawford, but I feel like Crawford may not even fit in this mold.
Watching Denis Berancek this morning, he does it.
But I'm no.
yeah.
Switch and have power, like legit power in both hands.
I think even though he's coming off that Bacoli destruction, Anderson at heavyweight is good at that. He when he switches, he still hits hard at both stances. I mean, I know. Again, the Bacoli fight just happened in August, but he's good at that when he's doing his thing. But no, it's rare. It's rare.
To me, it's extremely rare to see.
Ennis, Crawford.
Yeah,
Boots,
you could put Ennis. I think you can put Ennis in that, right?
For sure.
And I feel like Crawford could go in there, but we've seen a distinct difference. We've seen a difference when he's southpaw opposed to when he's orthodox. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was looking for with this kid. I was looking for when he switches. What are the tendencies? What is he leaning towards doing? What does he want to do? Not really, just from a standpoint of how can I articulate the rhyme and the reason to his switching. When the kid switched and went southpaw, it was clear he wanted to go to the body, but it was also clear that he understood that that's what he needed to do, and that was the best way to get it done. A lot of guys from where I'm sitting, a lot of guys like to go back and forth and try to, let me see if it works over here the way it works. He figured it out and he knew what it was going to be. And I was wrong. I thought this guy was going to be able to stand in there and deliver some power back. And it seemed like Tellez just kind of really turned off a lot of what his opponent could do and started to really just take control, especially after the body work that he landed. And, it was off to the races. The knockout was crazy, too.
Yeah, another guy that came to mind as you were Fury, when he's on to, can switch and has beaten guys good with both stances. I think he might have knocked out Dillian White. Might have been orthodox, might have been southpaw. For some reason, I remember him being southpaw. He switched southpaw and did it to Schwartz a couple years ago. But anyway, what I was impressed by Tellez was he found that extra gear where it looked like early on this slow and steady pro would maybe make him go the distance, have close rounds. You heard Ronnie Shields early on saying, "Hey, no close rounds."
Go ahead, speak your language.
Yeah, pick it up. And that has been what I like seeing from Tellez and Morel is the fact that they were able to get here in their 20s. They're able to shake some of those Cuban amateur habits because it's harder to teach an old dog new tricks. A lot of those Cuban guys would get over here in their 30s and still be super effective, but sometimes you'd be left wanting more output, more. And it looked like Tellez was like sometimes with your guy that used to spar Cedeno, Hendry, where they're switching and the special effects are coming out, but it's like work. I need to see you work too while you're doing that. And when it looked like Tellez might start going into that, he turned it up. He started digging to the body. He started fighting, mixing those Cuban tricks from the amateurs by sitting down on shots like in the pros. And Andy Cruz is a guy trying to work on that right now from Cuba too. His habits are a little. He's doing really good with Bozy, but he's still got to shake them a little bit because that's what he did best, winning those gold medals. But that's what I was most impressed from in this fight from Tellez, that he found that extra gear.
And I kind of want to respectfully correct you a little bit. I don't think it's so much shaking off that style or those tendencies. You add to them.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And on top of that, and you polish those attributes that you have.
Don't erase everything and redo.
The one that we could talk about is shout out to Bruce Carrington. I just saw him yesterday. Bruce, I think, has really shaken off the amateur style, and it's like that got you here. Like you can't lose it.
All of it. Right.
You can't lose that jab. You can't lose that mobility that you have. You know what I mean? So I think that we see kind of if you try to shake it off and leave it behind to adapt to a more professional style, we see that might limit how good you can be. Right. It might limit your offensive arsenal, and the list goes on. So I mean, I saw Bruce yesterday, And he's sparring tomorrow, so I'm like, let me go check him out again tomorrow. Want to see how these guys are working. I got to see Tellez work a week before this fight, and what I saw in the sparring, you see from a lot of guys, we're really, really comfortable. I look really, really comfortable when I sparred you.
No, not the first
But you look really, really comfortable. But
would you prefer a guy not to look comfortable in sparring?
So what I mean by look
Prepare
really
for things that'll
comfortable-
make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
What I mean by that is like you see guys in sparring, they don't have that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
They're not popping the
You
same.
always say
And I always say train at fight level.
Yeah.
We'll pull back if we need to, but make sure we get 100% in every single category while we're working. We'll dial back whatever we need to dial back in order to preserve our energy and things of that nature. But let's always work at the level that we're gonna think at. Let's make sure that engine is on. His engine was on when I saw him spar. I'm working with Marquise Taylor,
lead trainer,
and he worked with Marquise, and I was really, really impressed with how Marquise worked. But I also was like, well, he didn't really get going until we did 6 rounds. He didn't get going until round 4. Well, kind of seemed the same on Fight Night with this guy. He was super, super patient for the first 2 rounds. And it was like we always say about Crawford, like he collected that data. Ronnie Shields in the corner. And I don't know if Ronnie said, man, switch southpaw and get to this man's body. But I know that sense of urgency that I talked about, Ronnie had that after the first round. You know what I mean? So they work well together. And we know Ronnie has the ability to take everybody very far. So this kid, I think, is going to be a legit issue at 154 next year. I think next year he's gonna be trying to fight for a championship next year.
He called out Xander immediately after the fight.
Hold on, buddy. He said everybody wants me to fight Xander.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just trying to.
Okay, because I don't want
just
that right now.
Going at my own pace. I really don't either. I think in 2 years.
Yeah.
Next year, at the end of next year.
Nah.
Too soon.
No.
I might lean more towards 3.
Yeah.
There's no build up there. I think Xander, when it's time for him to fight title fights, is more ready made for a Virgil Ortiz type fight. Or he's been fighting on ESPN. Tellez has just got on the scene. He's been on some undercards. He's been on some big cards. He hasn't headlined yet. Xander's starting to get to the point where he's starting to headline his own ESPN card. So. They need a little more build-up to get to that.
Well, listen, we got the main event that we're about to talk about right now, and I think for a majority...
Broke down beautifully, by the way, the Tellez stuff. Of not taking away all your tricks in the amateurs, but adding to... just well said.